India fully affiliated to Swami Ramananda Tirth Aradwad University Nanded. For B.Sc second year and B.Sc third year student, semester 4th and semester 6th, युनिट फर्स्ट फोटोसिंथेसिस आपण स्टार्ट केलेला आहे. याच्यामध्ये इन प्रिव्हियस लेक्चर we have seen the introductory part of the photosynthesis, then significance of photosynthesis हे आपण पाहिलेलं आहे. या लेक्चरमध्ये आपण मॅग्निट्यूड ऑफ फोटोसिंथेसिस पाहणार आहोत. The light energy comes from the sun, is trapped by green plants or photosynthetic organisms. The light energy that comes from the sun, from that energy 0.2% of light energy is fallen on the green plant or on the earth, and remaining energy that reflected in the atmosphere, and that 0.2% of light energy is utilized by green plants or photosynthetic organisms. About 70 to 80 billion tons of carbon dioxide are fixed annually by terrestrial and aquatic plants or autotrophs. And it produces near about 1700 million tons of dry organic matter. Out of these, only 10% of organic matter is produced by the terrestrial plants, and remaining organic matter, dry organic matter, is produced by aquatic plants or aquatic autotrophs. This is the estimate by Rabinovich in 1951. According to more recent figures given by Reader and Woodwell in 1970, only 1/3 of total global photosynthesis can be attributed by marine plants. 70 to 80 billion tons of carbon dioxide annually फिक्स केला जातो. कुणामार्फत? टेरेस्ट्रियल आणि ॲक्वॅटिक प्लांट्स जे आहेत किंवा ॲक्वॅटिक आणि टेरेस्ट्रियल फोटोसिंथेटिक ऑर्गॅनिझम जे आहेत त्यांच्या मार्फत हे एवढा कार्बन डायऑक्साईड ॲन्युअली फिक्स केला जातो. आणि याचं रूपांतर जे ड्राय ऑर्गॅनिक मॅटरमध्ये होतं ते जवळपास 1700 मिलियन टन्स ड्राय ऑर्गॅनिक मॅटर प्रोड्यूस केलं जातं. याच्यामध्ये फक्त 10% ड्राय ऑर्गॅनिक मॅटर जे आहे हे टेरेस्ट्रियल प्लांटमार्फत किंवा लँड प्लांटमार्फत केलं जातं, आणि राहिलेलं जे 90% ड्राय ऑर्गॅनिक मॅटर जे आहे हे प्रोड्यूस फ्रॉम ओशन किंवा समुद्रामध्ये असणारे जे फोटोसिंथेटिक ऑर्गॅनिझम्स आहेत किंवा प्लांट्स आहेत यांच्यामार्फत केलं जातं. म्हणजे टोटल 1/3 ड्राय ऑर्गॅनिक मॅटर किंवा फोटोसिंथेसिस जे आहे हे कॅरिड आउट कुठं केलं जातं? तर ओशनमध्ये केलं जातं. दॅट इज द मॅग्निट्यूड ऑफ फोटोसिंथेसिस. The functional relationship between light and dark reactions. The photosynthesis, you know that photosynthesis is require light or it light dependent reaction. In this photosynthesis, water is oxidized and carbon dioxide is reduced. Water is oxidized and carbon dioxide is reduced. in overall reactions, the light energy is intervenes to drive the reactions. Light energy is required for that reaction. However, it is possible to show that photosynthesis consists of a combination of light dependent reaction and light independent reaction, that is dark reaction. That is, the photosynthesis is the combination of light reaction and dark reaction. Now it is clear that all the reactions for the incorporation of carbon dioxide into carbohydrates or organic materials can occur in the dark reaction. In the dark reaction, carbon dioxide is converted into carbohydrates, and it is well-known fact in today. This reaction depends on light. This reaction is depend on light. In these reactions, the radiant energy is converted into chemical energy. According to Aradwad, the functional relationship between light and dark reactions can be established by examining the requirement of the dark reactions. The dark reaction is a complex cycle, and it is enzyme mediated. It is known as Kelvin cycle. You know that Kelvin cycle. In this Kelvin cycle, or in the dark reaction, it is very complex cycle and it is enzyme mediated. That enzymes catalyzes the reduction of carbon dioxide into sugar. This cycle requires a reducing agent, that is NADPH, that is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, and chemical energy in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. The dark reaction requires reducing agent and some energy. The reducing agent is NADPH and energy is in the form of ATP is required. The reduced NADP and ATP are produced by the light reaction. The NADPH आणि ATP हे कुठं तयार होतं? इन द लाईट रिॲक्शन्स. लाईट रिॲक्शनमध्ये NADPH आणि ATP हे तयार केलं जातं. ATP is the adenosine triphosphate. After breaking the adenosine triphosphate or ATP, large amount of energy is produced, and that energy is stored in the form of the chemical form. And that chemical form energy is converted from the radiant energy in the photosynthesis. It is thus possible to divide the description of photosynthesis into those reactions associated with Kelvin cycle and fixation of carbon dioxide, and those reactions capture of light by pigments, electron transport, photophosphorylation, which are directly driven by light. That is the photosynthesis. In the photosynthesis, the radiant energy is converted into chemical energy. That chemical energy stored in the form of carbohydrates. The carbon dioxide that is converted into carbohydrates or in the form of sugar That reaction is carried out in the absence of light. That reaction is carried out in the absence of light. So the photosynthesis is nothing but the combination of two reactions, that is light reaction and dark reaction. Site of photosynthesis. Where is photosynthesis is carried out? Chloroplast in the green plants constitute the photosynthetic apparatus and act as a site of photosynthesis. The photosynthesis is carried out in the chloroplast of the green plant. That is the actual site of photosynthesis. Chloroplast in the higher plant are discoid or ellipsoid in shape and measuring 4 to 6 micron in length and 1 to 2 micron in thickness. It is double membranous cytoplasmic organelles of eukaryotic green plant cells. Chloroplast is double membranous cytoplasmic organelle of eukaryotic cell of the plant. The thickness of two membranes, including periplastidial space, is approximately 1300 angstrom. Ground substance of chloroplast is filled with hydrophilic matrix known as stroma. The ground substance of chloroplast is filled with hydrophilic matrix known as stroma. It contains DNA and RNA. DNA 0.5% and RNA is 2 to 3%. Plastoribosomes, that is 70S ribosomes, are present in the ground substance. Enzymes for carbon dioxide assimilation, proteins 50 to 60%, starch grains and osmophilic droplets, vitamin E and K, calcium, magnesium, ferrous, manganese and potassium, phosphorus, etc. in the trace amounts. In the ground substance, what is present in the ground substance? That is DNA, RNA, plastoribosomes, enzymes of carbon dioxide assimilation, proteins, starch grains, osmophilic droplets, vitamin A, and trace amount of elements, that is calcium, magnesium, ferrous, manganese and phosphorus. In stroma are embedded a number of flattened membranous sacs. Stroma is embedded in the flattened membranous sacs known as thylakoids. Photosynthetic pigments occur in thylakoids membranes. Aggregation of thylakoids to form stacks of coin-like structure known as grana. Thylakoids are arranged in stacks of coin-like structure, and that is known as grana. A granum consists near about 20 to 30 thylakoids. Each thylakoid includes a space known as asclocus. The end of disc-shaped thylakoid is called as margin, and the area where the thylakoid membranes are pressed together is called as partition. Some of the grana lamellae are connected with thylakoids of the other grana by stroma lamellae or freight membrane. Thylakoid membrane and stroma lamellae both are composed of lipids and proteins. In photosynthetic prokaryotes, that is blue-green algae and bacteria, chloroplast is absent. Chromophore is present in the photosynthetic bacteria and photosynthetic lamellae in blue-green algae. That is the chloroplast, structure of chloroplast. In the chloroplast is double membranous structure. The hydrophilic ground matter is present in the chloroplast. That ground matters contain thylakoids and grana. The thylakoids and grana are connected by a lamellae known as freight membrane. thylakoid membrane and stroma membrane both are composed of lipids and proteins. The mechanism of photosynthesis. Next point is mechanism of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is an oxidation reduction process in which water is oxidized and carbon dioxide is reduced. Water is oxidized and carbon dioxide is reduced into carbohydrates. Blackman in 1905 pointed out that the process of photosynthesis is consist of two phases, that is the light reaction or light phase or light dependent phase or photochemical phase, and second phase is dark reaction or dark phase or light independent phase or biochemical phase. During light reaction, oxygen is evolved and assimilatory power ATP and NADPH2 are formed. You know all that, or you have seen in previous point, that is the ATP and NADP is produced in the light reaction. That is the assimilatory power of the. During dark reaction, that assimilatory power is utilized by synthesis of glucose. That is overall the process of light and dark reaction. Oxygenic photosynthesis, that is evolution of oxygen, takes place in green eukaryotes and cyanobacteria. And oxygenic photosynthesis takes place in photosynthetic bacteria. Mechanism how the photosynthesis is carried out. It is actually carried out into two phases, light phase and dark phase, or light reaction or dark reaction. In light reaction, the assimilatory powers NADPH2 and ATP is produced, and in dark reaction, what happens, that carbon dioxide is converted into sugar, that require energy or any reducing agent NADPH2 and the ATP. सो आपण या ठिकाणी थांबूत आणि नेक्स्ट पिरियडमध्ये सिंथेटिक पिगमेंट्स हा पार्ट आपण पाहू. थँक्यू.